retirees, you've asked for your own Did You Know, comparing you to retirees in other states. So here we go. You are in TSERS, Teachers and State Employees Retirement System. It's the 9th largest system in the country, and only 5 systems in this country are better funded asset to liability ratio wise, which means how much money we have versus what we would have to pay out to everybody. When you retire, an AFC is used to determine what your check's going to be. It's your highest 48 straight months of pay, of your highest pay, times a retirement factor or formula of 1.82% set by statute, that'll matter in a minute, times creditable service years. So how do we stack up? This 1.82 is 19 clicks below the average around the country. The average for our nation in terms of state retirement fund formulas is 2.01. Those 19 clicks matter. Every click is worth about 0.4% of your check. So 19 clicks would translate in your check to almost 10% a month. We're going to round it up to 10 because it's so close. It would be about 10% per month difference to you if we went with what the average state is giving in terms of a formula to its employees. Now remember, we're one of the biggest and the baddest, and we're 10% behind average just when they initially calculate your check. Then what happens? Well, the National Conference on Public Employee Retirement Systems in its 2025 report reported that 3/4 of the states are giving a COLA, not a benefit, not a bonus, not a one-time anything, a true cost of living adjustment. What does that translate into? Well, for more than half of those, it's 3%. So you're 10% behind when your check is originally calculated, and then 3/4 of the country is getting another 3% on top of that in terms of a real COLA. Now, why, if we're so huge, are we this far behind average for our retirees? It's wrong. The only reason for a fund our size to be that far behind is because we're not giving the money. The fund, there's only 5 funds with a better asset to liability ratio than us because we don't give the money to our retirees. It's there to try to be one of the best funded in the country. Being one of the biggest and best does you no good if you can't take care of the people who worked their entire careers taking care of us. And if you're not a state employee, not a retiree, and you don't know why this matters, I would just ask you, the people that come out after a hurricane, after a huge snowstorm, when everybody else is staying at home, the people who stayed in the job during COVID, the people who make sure your bridges are built correctly and they're safe for you to traverse, that your elevators are safe to get in with your family, that your vulnerable populations are taken care of in DHHS facilities, and who were your teachers in the classroom. All of these people, you can remember them or think about them. They took those jobs for much less than they would have made in the private sector because North Carolina always took care of its employees when they retired. They didn't have to worry about that. Senate budget this year came out last night. It does nothing for retirees, nothing, not even a bonus. We're so far behind average, y'all, and that is not a place that North Carolina should ever be on anything. But we can fix this. The House has a budget yet to come, and then I'm hopeful if the House puts something in, which we're going to push hard at Senate for, that the Senate will agree to that with the House. But I wanted you to know because you wanted to know. I don't think it'll make you feel any better about where we are, but it certainly gives you information for when you call your legislators to make your own case and make the case of your neighbors. That this far below average just won't do. Thanks.